Hello again. Welcome to another edition of Reading Out Loud. I'm Bradley Burt, and today I'd like to read three poems to you, poems from my upcoming collection of tales, which will be the sixth collection that I will have published. This one is titled, I Haven't the Time, Tales of a Woke Wayfarer. I'm not sure if my 5 grandchildren would think of me as woke from their perspective. But when the book comes out, sometime before Christmas, if you get a chance to read it, you can decide for yourself. The first poem I'd like to read has the same title as the book, I Haven't the Time. I haven't the time for anger or rancor or grumbling, self-pity or frown, though life may be slipping like candle wax dripping neath flame that is melting it down. I can't deign to hate it, to fight or debate it. Death is what it is, and that's sure. I know I must see it, for I cannot flee it. It's out there, so I must endure. I haven't the time to wish it were different, for wishing just won't make it so. Yes, life can be strange, but nothing will change its seasons, its to and its fro. We rise on the tide and hope to abide its ebb, its washing away. For we get what we get, and death will not let us decide how long we will stay. I haven't the time to dwell on life's finish, though I know it lurks, that's certain. When all has been said, I still look ahead to life's next opening curtain. Adventures await through each unlocked gate I encounter along the way. What's past is the past, so quickly it passed, but it's not where I want to stay. I haven't the time for life's yesterdays, too many tomorrows still call. At each dawning morn I feel I'm reborn, unburdened by death's mournful thrall. To life's joyous strain I sing the refrain of one who is freed from all fear. Death's voice is keening, but without meaning, for I am immersed in life here. I haven't the time to worry and fret, to waste whate'er days I have left. I'm opening doors, I'm dancing cross floors. I don't sit alone and bereft like people who cry and moan, asking why their lives are so misery-filled. I'm out and about with a joyful shout that death's specter hasn't yet stilled. I haven't the time to wait at death's door, afraid of its opening creak. Life's not about shrouds and gathering clouds and the grim reaper's dreadful shriek. The very best way to keep death at bay is to live my life to the hilt. So I choose to spend my life till the end, pushing on. That's how I am built. I haven't the time for anger or rancor, or grumbling, self-pity or frown. Life's about living, getting, and giving full measure before it winds down. When that day is nigh, as 'twill be by and by, I hope it will be widely said that as man and boy, I strove for the joy of living until I was dead. That's I Haven't the Time, and it gave title to the new book. The book is a collection of about 40 essays and about 10 poems, 3 of which I'm reading out loud today. The second one is titled Morning, and this is a prize-winning poem in the Florida Gulf Coast Writers 2020 contest. It's not as free-flowing as the first one, but I hope you'll enjoy it. Morning. Sunlight slowly streaming, peering through tree branches, seeming reaching up and out to touch it and be touched. Dark shade spots, never lasting, shift on forest run and up the stretching trunks to dance cross leaves turned up to see the sun. Water, reflecting morning back to bluing sky above from fiery diamond dance of light atop the waves. The lake awakes as light turns trees of green to gold and traps their images in mirrored mirror, quicksilver, green and cold. Mist, wet wraith-like trails of dew that do not seek the morn, but rather gather, clutched, and drift and look to hide, until discovered, by the sun's relentless rays, surrender to the light that thrusts elusive phantoms from its gaze. Breezes approaching, shyly coming onto shore, from jigging o'er the water tops and waves that lap the land. With sighs they softly rise to stir the trees awake, then us, through mesh that screens the out from in and stubborn sleep from wake. I stir, and lying on the bed in my repose, with eyes still closed, I draw a morning breath into my soul. And then, eyes opening to the world dawning anew, I also turn to see the morning sun. And it is you. That poem was written originally for my wife, my high school sweetheart, and as I said, recently won a prize in the Florida 2020 writing contest. The final poem I'll read to you today pertains to the season that is fast approaching, Christmas, and I wrote it hoping that there would be a lesson and yet still some entertainment value for the person reading it or reading it out loud. This is entitled A Christmas Tale. On a cold park bench, enveloped in stench, slumped a woman, haggard, old, with long straggly hair, face wrinkled with care, clothes ragged, shivering, cold. As I passed her by, idly wondering why she was there and whence she came, she disturbed my cheer as Christmas drew near, a mystery and a shame. But one little lad approached her, quite sad, stood quietly by her side. They spoke not a word, least not that I heard, and the woman softly cried. The boy bowed his head, and something was said between them. What could it be? Then after a while, with a tearful smile, she lifted the boy to her knee. He offered the hag a gift from the bag he had purchased for his mum, a porcelain cup from which she could sup, that had cost a tidy sum. And from his worn purse a coin he dispersed into her scarred, bony hand. It wasn't too much, but oh, it was such a gesture, humble yet grand. So I stole away, embarrassed, I'd say, compared to that little lad. I hadn't stopped there to show her some care. He'd given her all he had. When he left the crone on the bench alone and dark came to quell the light, the snow gently fell. I heard the church bell as day surrendered to night. At Christmas morn's dawn, the old hag was gone as quickly as she'd appeared. I heaved a great sigh as I hurried by to the church that I revered. But on my way back, on the bench, a sack, tied gaily in Christmas wrap. On the card, the name of the lad who came to sit on the woman's lap. He opened it up and pulled out the cup, ablaze now, silver and gold, reflecting the light. It blinded my sight. My terror could not be told. I fell to my knees, immediately seized by shame for how I had erred, ignoring the crone, bereft and alone, when my time I should have shared. Though it sounds absurd, in my head I heard the Lord's voice, loving but stern. You have been measured, I am displeasured. Now you must listen and learn. In all of your town, just one boy I found who took time to pay me heed. He came to my aid, together we prayed, in my hour of greatest need. With sorrowful face, I asked for the grace of forgiveness, mercy, love. His next words were clear, they rang in my ear, admonishing from above. Take care how you treat the poor in the street. They too are my children, you see. And whate'er you do unto these wretched few, you do it also to me. A Christmas Tale. Even though I wrote it, I still get a little choked up in the middle of it, thinking of that little boy and what he gave. So those 3 poems are from my latest collection of tales. which is subtitled Tales of a Woke Wayfarer. It will be out sometime before Christmas, and I'll be sure to let you know in case you decide you'd like to purchase a copy. So that's it for this segment. Thanks for listening.